Hello, my name is Lily Morningstar. I'm instructor at College of Southern Nevada. This video tutorial is intended for my students at the CIT 173 class, Red Hat Linux. So during this video, I will show you how to access NetLab environment and how to do your labs in the NetLab. So first of all, make sure you don't Google NetLab. I had students who tried to contact me and telling me that they've been trying to access NetLab and it's not working. And then I realized after talking to them that they trying to log into some different NetLab server that is not belongs to CSN, some different colleges. So your college is CSN. You're taking this course at CSN and make sure you log into our NetLab server, which is netlab1.csn.edu. Second, if you never used NetLab before and I set up this NetLab account for you, which is, I would say, 80% of the class, your username would be your student ID number, and your password was distributed through the private messages on Canvas. Again, make sure you're checking those private messages on Canvas from me. I usually send important information there that you need to read and get familiar with. So you will not be asking questions later when I already actually answered those questions. So you're entering your username, you're entering your password, you log in, and you will be forwarded right away to change your temporary password to permanent one. Make sure it's a little bit more complex than the one I distributed for you, and make sure you won't forget it. I really don't want anybody to keep forgetting their passwords and asking me to change it again and again. It's gonna be just too much. I mean, it happens sometimes. Just try not to forget your password, that's all. So now I'm just going to enter my own credentials to log in into the NetLab server. And as you can see, I already scheduled a lab for myself, but I'm still going to show you how to do this. So you do new lab reservation, you schedule lab for myself. If you're not instructor, you don't have scheduled lab for someone else. You're going to CIT 173-1002 class, and if you're taking some other classes that require NetLab, you will have more than one. If not, it's gonna be the only class you have. Then you have access to RedHat 134 and 124. It doesn't matter, honestly, but you should use the first one. I mean, it does matter because it's different class. I put this in here for my personal use. So you log in here. And now your time is scheduled. So for example, I know today I'm going to be available from 5 o'clock, let's just say. And as you can see right now, all the spots available, but sometimes it happens like this. Like, see, there's 3 spots available were occupied and 1 is available only. Sometimes it's more than 4. Just scroll to the right and you will see how many pods available. So I really don't want to hear excuse that you did not do your lab because during the time when you were available, no pods were available. I will not believe that, because there are plenty of them. So then you press, for example, at 17 o'clock, which is 5 o'clock, right? Submit, and you have your reservation scheduled. Right now, I cannot enter this lab because it's scheduled at 5 and it's only 4:12. So I knew that. That's why I scheduled early different lab. So here's the one is available. So for example, we were waited till 5 o'clock when it's available for us. We log back in to the NetLabs, and now we're just entering the lab. Perfect. So if you never ever logged in before, first where I would specifically ask you to go is content. Make sure you read it through, because otherwise you will have questions how to log into your own machine. Well, not your own machine, but the NetLab environment machine. And you will not know how to get into the actual lab environment created for you with Red Hat. So make sure you read it. Second, you can actually even print it out just for your use, but after completing few labs, you will be able to use it. I'm gonna start with the guided exercise. And the reason I'm going to start with guided exercise because few students already asked me questions on it. And then I'm going to show you how to do the lab itself. So I hope not going to be long, but we will try to do this as fast as possible. So we're looking here. Kiosk. Red Hat is going to be our password right now. So now we press on activities. We need terminal. Now, if we start just typing everything as it says here in your book, we will be able to do this lab perfectly fine. However, we will not be able to do to finish this lab to basically to see if it's successful or not. So here's the thing. We need to log in SSH into the student workstation. Right now we're in kiosk workstation. You can see this, right? So just think about this NetLab as being your host machine, and from your host you SSH to different machine that located somewhere else, not here. So if you read your guide, you already know what to type. It's gonna be RHT dash VMCTL start all. That's your first command before you starting the lab. Then next command, you need to SSH it to student. Here comes the thing about this specific lab. It's not for every lab, it's just for this specific lab. If you will SSH right now into different computers, then all the changes you're gonna be doing specifically on this other computer that you SSH to. And we're gonna just do this step by step and I explain what I mean. So for our labs, we need to SSH, right? SSH student workstation. What do you mean no route? Okay, SSH student dot workstation. I promise you it works. Sometimes it just takes more than once. SSH student at workstation. See, it works. So now we just think through your command line, you went somewhere else. You're not in your computer right now. You're in the student workstation. So here, if you go here, right, you will see it asking you to change a password for student. So we're changing this password for the user that using the student workstation, not our personal workstation. Let's just do this. WD. So current student password, as it says in the lab, is student. And we're changing this to 55 turn key. It's asking you to retype. As you can see, you cannot see this password. It's really annoying. But you will get used to 55 turn key. So we just updated password for this user. Later, it's tell you that you need to log out and log back in. And here's the thing. If you follow the directions from here, from the book, I cannot select it for some reason from this book. What are you gonna have? Like, you're gonna log in your own machine and your password is not changed from student to turn 55 turn key, because you technically did it not on your own machine, right? So you technically cannot do step 3, step 4 being remotely. What I would recommend you to do right now, after completing this step, lab, CLI, desktop, finish. And that's the screenshot you need to take for guided exercise. However, I really want you to learn how to change passwords for the user. So what if we can change password specifically for the user of this machine, right? We can go through all the steps, except we're not gonna use student password. We're gonna use RedHat, the one we use to log in. And we're not gonna change it to 55 turn keys. We're actually gonna change it to the password that I distributed for you for your NetLab. And another thing good about NetLab, that after you finish with the lab and you just log out, this password will be reset to normal. It's not gonna stay. It's just gonna kind of go back to where you started. So don't worry about changing here. Don't worry about breaking this virtual environment. It's been specifically created for you so you can break it. Okay, so we're changing password right now to our actual workstation. So you remember, oops, my bad. We're not changing right now. I forgot to exit. So we're still in student workstation. We need to exit. Okay. So now I'm back in kiosk, back in my computer. That's where I'm gonna change it. Changing password for kiosk. So current password, if you remember, was RedHat. Enter. Now I want you to P @ $$ VV 0 RD lowercase. Hello. Repeating. P @ $$ VV 0 RD. So I just changed the password for the user kiosk. As I said, this actual machine that we work on. That's not our personal machine, that's a NetLab, but that's the one we work on. So now if we repeat these steps, such as log out, of kiosk. Log out. And we need to log back in. If we enter Red Hat, it tells us it's wrong password, because our password was, if you remember, p at $$ VV0RD. And we're in. Looks like we did a good job, right? Activities. I don't need apps. I need only. So now I want you to show me that you did all these changes, and that's what I need you to submit as a second screenshot for the guided lab environment. So as you can see, I can see that you SSH'd, that you used change password. So that's what I need to know. I need to have as your second proof that you went through all single steps. Like you tried to do this in SSH, but you also changed the password in here. Remember, I told you everything gonna be reset to normal next time you log in into the NetLab. So next time you log into the NetLab, your password for this Red Hat will be Red Hat. Make sure you understand that. So let's go back to where we started. We need to do actual lab, and I'm gonna just scroll to the actual lab. I would highly recommend you to actually practice all this. You don't need to submit me anything, but practicing these commands will actually give you opportunity to learn it. And Linux and command line interface requires you constantly repeat. So I'm in the lab right now, and it says to you lab CLI review start. I'm on a page 7, right? Yes. So we're repeating command 1. Okay, it's already running. I just make sure. We need to SSH to student workstation. So good. You can just type again. What did I do? I didn't mean to exit here. Okay, so we already did there, and I was trying to show you different command, how you can repeat one of the commands that you just used. So if you use the history, you have all these commands, right? And now I want SSH, but I don't want to type entire SSH student at workstation. So what I would do, I would just, okay, I'm having some weirdness here. Exclamation mark 2. That's mean repeat the second command. Okay, so I am now in student workstation, and if you see, you can type who am I, and you will see that you are in the student workstation. You're a student. Your password, remember, could be changed. because we didn't log out yet. If you did log out, it would be back to normal. I mean, if you finished your NetLab and scheduled new NetLab. I didn't do this, so just for you to remember. And as I said, 1 hour of schedule is more than enough for you to finish this guided exercise and NetLab in the lab itself. So, okay, I need to do lab, CLI, review, start. Perfect. So first command I need to test is date. Awesome. Next command is date with plus %R. So it's like 12-hour clock time output. Next command is going to be file zcat. File zcat. Something is going on with my keyboard today. It's weird. Especially here for some reason in NetLab. Hopefully. Okay. So next is gonna be wc escape plus dot. Ew. Use the bash history shortcut escape. Oh, okay. Never mind. That was not command. As I said, temporary hiccups. Zcat. Okay, output perfect compared to the book. So next is gonna be head zcat. To see the head of the document only. The next tail zcat to see the end portion of the document. Oh, okay. So next is gonna be 2 exclamation marks command. That show you the last command you use. Repeat the previous command exactly with 3 fewer keystrokes. That's what it does. So next is gonna be tail -n 20 zcat. It's gonna just show you the last 20 strokes. Number 9. I know you can do exactly the same command for the head, but not for the slab. Make sure when you do the slab, you do just exactly as it says to do. Otherwise, you're not gonna pass the lab and you have to redo this again. Okay, so the next command actually gonna be history. Oh, I use this command a lot. So I just showed you like previously I used this command. And now it wants us to run the date plus like in 12-hour format, the one you used. So it's gonna be our second command. That's why we use this exclamation mark number 2. That means we're gonna run the command that under number 2. Oops, it is not. Because our number 2 is different command. You have to make sure when you do, you pay attention, because I was looking at the screen with at the book and didn't pay attention. So I need to repeat actually different command, but now because I just ran different command, I have to type history again. And as you can see, for me to explain the date, that's what I need to do. It's exclamation mark 8. So in the book it's 2, because in the book they didn't do all these previous commands. I did. And I would highly recommend it to actually finish the first lab and schedule the next one. Otherwise you're gonna get confused like I did right now. Okay, so we just received output, and now we do grade. Let's see if I'm gonna fail. Nope, I passed. Lab CLI review finish. Perfect. That's the another screenshots for the actual lab that I need you to submit. Congratulations! I just did in less than an hour entire lab and the guided exercise with you. So I'm gonna finish this video. And what do you want to do right now? You just want to end reservation now. Make sure you took screenshots, otherwise you will have to do these labs again. And nothing wrong about doing labs again. The more you do these labs, the more you're practicing, the better you become at command line interface. And I'm gonna log out. And actually I'm gonna just close everything. So thank you for watching this. It took me almost 30 minutes to do these 2 labs and explain to you how to log in into NetLab. Hopefully it was useful. If you have any questions, please make sure you ask them through Canvas private messages. Bye.